Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you a project that I made using a craft box, which was from www.craftbox.co.uk. They have an online store and they also have a subscription service. In fact, several different types of subscription services where they send you a box each month. You've heard of this before. There's a lot of those out there. This one is called the Signature Box, and this is the one from August. The theme was mermaids and dragons. The box contains 15 items, and every month you get something different. So here I am opening the box, showing you the different things that came in it. The list was a stamps, mini stencil, snip art dragon, snip art sentiment, exclusive papers, flowers, charms, a dragon charm, glass eyes, glass cabochons, resin teardrops, dragon resin, mermaid tails, fabric, and a glass vial. And then I also received a subscriber gift, which comes in the box each time. And I think it's that necklace, but I'm not sure. So I'm looking at all the different things that came in the box, as well as the box itself. The box has a magnetic closure. It's a nice box, and I save these types of boxes. I have boxes from my phone, boxes from little samples from makeup, all this different type of boxes that I like to create things out of. So the second video that you'll be seeing in a couple days will be making something out of the box that the craft box came in, but this one is a different project. So you'll get two different videos from this craft box, and there's still plenty of things left over that I could make a scrapbook page or cards or ATCs. They say that their boxes are for scrapbooking, card making, and mixed media. Of course, I'm a mixed media artist, so that's what I did with my items. But just showing you all the different things that came in the box. You pay a monthly subscription fee, and then if you are in the United States, because this is a company from the UK, there is a mailing charge of $12 as well. So if you want to get it in the United States, you'll need to pay that. So what I decided to make, my first project is a dream journal. I actually keep a dream journal because I think it's very fascinating to, when you wake up, to write down if you'd been having a particularly interesting or intense dream. And then you can go back later. Sometimes I get my art ideas from that. I dream about stuff. So I decided to create a dream journal, and I started out with a couple pieces of tag board, which are just the backs from pads. You know how you get a paper pad, maybe it's watercolor paper, maybe it's this type of paper, whatever. It usually has a backing, and I just save those when the pad is done with. And I cut this down to, I think it's 5.5 by 7.5, and I'm making the covers first, and then I cut pages out of mixed media paper for the inside, because that's the lightest weight paper I have. And the intention of this journal isn't to make an art journal out of it, but more to write down dreams. And so I started out with a couple of the papers. Oh, another thing that she sent me in addition to the box was a 6x6 paper pad called The Dreamer, and it had a lot of nice papers in it that happened to coordinate with the signature papers that came in the kit as well. So I'm using some of the, I don't know which papers I'm using on which thing, but I end up using the papers. And I picked the ones that I like the pictures. I'm using a decal edge ruler to tear some of the edges off because I wanted to just get a very small bit of tearing. And then to cover the bases of my journal, I'm just using some gel printed papers that I made when I was doing that baby powder technique. Trying to pick some out of my folder that match the colors that I was going for here. These are the ones that I picked. I didn't end up using all those. So the first one I pick is this blue one with some kind of circles on it from a stencil. And it's very simple. All I do is just glue that piece of tag board down. I did Jesuit, by the way, to seal it so that it wouldn't soak up so much glue and medium. And then I just fold the edges around to the back to keep it neat. and tidy. I did have a bubble there that I had to pop with a little straight pin and then glue back down because I couldn't get it out any other way. I'm using Liquitex matte medium, and then to glue the edges I'm using tacky glue. This tacky glue has been around forever. It's still the best stuff. It's so quick. So I just fold over the edges, and then I have a nice covered piece of tag board that I can decorate with the papers from the box. So this one has a cute little fairy on it, and she seems to be sitting on a branch, and she's in colors of blue, and that's the reason that I picked the blue background for this. And then I also just picked a little scrap of gel printed paper because I didn't want, for compositionally, I think it was more interesting to have that piece of printed paper slightly off center, but I needed something to balance it. So I just had this interesting little piece of gel printed paper. I went around the papers using some watering can colored archival ink. This ink doesn't run when you get it wet, so then I can just go ahead right away, just go ahead and glue my things on without worrying about that ink that I sponged around the edges with a sponge dauber. I think that gives it a nice finished look, and so I sometimes do that. I often do it. I like to have borders around things. Have you guys noticed that? If you've been watching my channel, you notice I like borders around things. So I also sponged all the edges of the cover as well using that same watering can, which is a gray colored ink. And then I had this little very, very thin washi tape that's silver that I thought would add an interesting design element. So I put that down the side, and then I ended up putting it across as well. And that gives you kind of a focal image area. You know, using the rule of thirds, that's really more like quarters, but the way it was laid out, I needed to have that cross piece, and then that's the place where those two pieces of washi tape intersect will be an interesting focal point to build on. So you notice when I was unwrapping the box that there was a long piece of teal colored ribbon that was wrapped around the box and tied in a bow. And then there was also a piece of navy colored ribbon, the same width, and it was like a sateen ribbon that was tied around the fabric. I end up using those in my project. I don't let anything go to waste. I even saved the green tissue paper that came inside the box, and also all the packaging that all these little things come in. They all have a backing that's got a nice printing on it. Even the cover of the 6x6 paper pad had a nice something that was, you know, printed on the sticker and the packaging as well. So if you like what's printed on it, just save it and use it in your collage. You know, I don't throw stuff away. I don't get rid of stuff unless I don't like it. If I think I might use it sometime in the future, I just save it. So now I'm doing the back cover with a teal piece of gel printed paper, and this one is deli paper, so I'm kind of treating it gently and smoothing it down with a old credit card, which makes it very easy to get that deli paper flat. Deli paper likes to wrinkle when you're using it for collage. It's so nice and light and so great for collage, but it also does like to wrinkle. So then I'm putting these other pieces from the same pad and also that same skinny silver washi tape on this one. So that will be the back cover. So then I have a front and a back. The little, what brand is it? Snip Art Sentiment was that in my dreams, and I painted it with some PBO silver paint so it would match the project. So now that I have the first layers of my covers completed, I'm going to add some embellishments and some more things to it. I have that stencil, which I think is really cute. It looks like scales, so it could either be dragon scales or it could be mermaid scales, depending on which direction you're going with. And so I plan on using that in the little stamp set um, to add some more visual interest. And then I also have the flowers and the cabochons and different things that I'm trying out. I even end up with one of the charms, just trying them, auditioning them in different areas. These resin tears, they had different colors of glitter inside. When I first saw it in the package, I thought they were all the same. But then once I took them out, there was a pink one, a yellow one, a silver one, and kind of a blue one. So I ended up using the blue and silver ones and leaving the pink and gold in the package. And I used most of the stuff. I didn't use everything. So I still have things left over, even after doing two fairly fairly intensive projects. I still have lots of stuff left over from the box. It's a good value. So I decide to use the silver charm, and I do end up trimming um, the charm hanger off of it. It has like a little loop where you could hang it from something, but I ended up trimming that off. So I get out some paint and a stencil brush. That the paint is Dina Wakley Ancient colored paint, and it's an interesting color. It's not gold, it's not silver, it's not copper. It's some kind of mixture of all those. On the video, it kind of looks gold, but it's really not. It's, I don't know. I think maybe it's probably a good representation of what the color bronze is, because bronze isn't gold. It looks kind of a goldish, but it isn't gold. It's a different, duller color. I don't know. It's a really cool color. I saw my friend using it in one of our live streams, and I'm like, huh, I need that color. That's a really cool color because, you know, I like copper. I don't really like gold, but I like that kind of in between. So I'm using the stencil brush and the little mini stencil with the scales on it to kind of blend together the composition um, and add visual interest, of course. And then I get out that watering can colored ink pad and some little acrylic blocks and use some of these teeny tiny stamps. They're tiny. I wish they were larger. That's that's the one thing that I um, felt about the box, is that the stamps were really so tiny that they were almost unusable to me because I tend to do bigger projects. But there's a little dream catcher one, and there's a couple little sparkly star type things, and then there's a little dragon in there in the stamp set. So I'm mostly using the little sparkles to stamp around to add another layer of color. And then I do use the little dream catcher a couple times. So once all that is dry, then I'm adding some Stickles glitter glue to certain areas. The wings on the fairy and the hair on the other girl, and just, you know, here and there to add a little bit of spots of sparkle. Not all over, but just in a few spots. I like doing that. I like glitter glue. It's so much better than loose glitter. Do you guys remember loose glitter? Man, that stuff was a pain. So then to cover the insides of the covers of the book, I'm using some self-adhesive felt. It's nice and fuzzy and just, I don't know, it gives a nice feeling, kind of a fluffy cloud feeling. And then I've cut all these pages and I've cut them slightly smaller than the covers. And then I'm just marking one of the pages so that I can make a punch guide. And I punched some holes in it, 3 holes, using this crocodile punch. I had to clean it out. It had some pieces in it. And then use that guide to go and punch all the other pages by clipping a few together with a bulldog clip and then punching in the same areas. And I just keep doing that until all the pages are punched. And then I use that same guide and line it up in the proper area on the covers, and also use that same crocodile punch. It'll punch through a lot of stuff. It's heavy duty to punch holes in the covers. And then I put the pages in and the covers on by using some rings. They're not D-rings because they're not D-shaped, but you know what I'm talking about. They're like key rings. They have that little separator thing, and then they clip back together. I have a container of those that I use to make stuff with. So there's that navy blue ribbon that was tied around the fabric inside the box, and then a piece of that teal ribbon that tied the entire box together and made it look fancy. And I tie those on one of the rings for some decoration. And then I start gluing things on. I'm using the iCraft Media glue to glue these on, mostly because it has a very, very fine tip. And it is supposed to be for mixed media, so it should glue it on there. Of course, the minute I flipped that over, it fell off because I didn't wait. So I used some painter's tape to tape down that little charm so that I could flip over and work on the other side of the book because I'm impatient. I don't want to wait for something to dry. Way too much drying. I don't like it. So then I'm using that same iCraft mixed media glue to glue on my little pretty turquoise cabochon and the tears, the resin tears, and then a couple of the flowers. There was kind of a tealish green one and a darker green one that I thought fit. And then, of course, I glue on the little snip art sentiment that came in the set in my dreams because this is a dream journal. Then I need one more something down there at the bottom. So I get out a package of, well, it's not a package, it's a plastic box full of all kinds of paper flowers to find one that will fit on there. And I settle with a yellow one that's small. I don't have very many small ones left. They're all big. That's how come I was having a problem finding it. And then I also have this Buttons Galore and More set that has some half pearls and some sequins in it. And they're the right colors to go with the project. So I end up using a half pearl in the center of the little yellow flower that I put on. And then some of the iridescent sequins scattered around the cover. So I hope you're enjoying this project. Be sure to check out it day after tomorrow, the coordinating project that went with it, made out of the box that all this stuff came in. And also go over there and check out the subscription service from www.craftbox.co.uk and see what types of subscription boxes they have. It's a lot of fun to get, something surprising every month in the mail. How fun is that? Of course, also don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you're enjoying it. So I have some silver thread that I tie on over the ribbons, and then I attach one of the little dragon charms. That there was 3 of them that were the same, 3 little tiny dragons that came in the box, and I attach one of those so it has kind of like a little bookmarker, dangly, cute thing on it because I like dangly things on journals. You can always make journal charms and things with beading. I've done that before, and people have sent them to me before as well. So then this one piece of paper that was in the back of the book, the 6x6 book, has a bunch of little word sayings on it. And then there was also this one that had 6 pictures or 8 pictures on it that were similar to the paper, but they were in small size. I cut those up and the little sentiments, and then I'm using some other colors of archival ink, violet, cactus flower, and forget-me-not, and then the little stamps, and I put something, either a little picture or a little stamped something on every single page on the inside of the book, just something small so that there's still places to write, but it feels like it's finished because there's something on the inside. So that was fun. All the things that I used are in the description box below with links, including a link to the Craftbox place where you can go order the subscription. And of course, here at the end are the close-ups. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.